Hey, welcome to Toon Time, bringing you Newcastle United news and discussion. I know it's been quite a while since I've done a broadcast, and it's just I had certain things why I wasn't available as much to um to deliver anything. But I watched the match last night and I have time now, and yeah, it was a good result, a good game. Showed that persistence and perseverance. You know, we dominated the game from start to finish. Had to deal with quite lax refereeing, to be honest, and some, let's say, overzealous tackling by the Nottingham Forest players. They tried to make it a very physical game, but we did have the quality over them. It showed, we had the better passing sequences, the better opportunities, and and eventually the right result came. I was thinking at the time, were we going to have another draw? But Isaac, sorry, showed that quality. That's why he was brought. That's why he's the record signing. He showed throughout the game the many ways that he was just dangerous. Making those runs into the channels, running wide, running through the centre, dragging the defenders out of position. He's dribbling, which is just amazing at times. He's just looking sharper by the week. He managed to finish with 2 goals. He should have had an assist as well, but we'll talk about that a bit later. And it was just an excellent performance by him and by the team in general. I have to say Joe Willock was quality. He got an assist yesterday. He was making a lot of driving runs. Helping us advance up the pitch with quite a bit of speed and skill and ingenuity as well. Um, Jacob Murphy, he's been very effective since he's been given these opportunities. It's that direct ability that he has been necessary, especially down the right hand side. Teams have become a bit too knowledgeable of how we were going to attack with Kieran Trippier and Miguel Amaran. So having Jacob Murphy there, who he just beats the man or makes the run and just gets a cross into the box, it's making teams have to defend us quite differently now because they know he's not going to cut back. So then you have to worry about when he makes that move. You can't counter it as easily because now you have to worry about defending the cross. And I'm glad that's why Eddie Howe saw that, and he's just implemented little changes to the attack to make teams have to defend us differently, have to think about how they're going to approach us. It's not going to be as simple. Oh, we won't have to worry about Almiron and Trippier. The players on the left hand side aren't really going to contribute as much. Sam Maximan didn't play as well yesterday, but I heard that he came off. Eddie Howe said that he had a hamstring issue, so that may have been what was holding him back. You could see it. I won't say that I saw him wincing, but he wasn't running hard at anything really. He was just more sauntering about the place. So I'm glad Eddie Howe's protected him. Hopefully the next couple of weeks allows him to recuperate, and then he'll be available for the Man United match when we come back in 2 weeks' time. Elliot Anderson was brilliant off the bench. I know everyone is felt sorry for him that he had that goal ruled out, but it's just one of those things. He just has to just take it in stride. He's shown that he can compete at this level and be dangerous. So that's how he has to approach it. It says you're gonna have those letdowns at times, but it's it's not something that should weigh on his mind, and I don't think he will. You can see the type of player he is. He has quite a bit of confidence in himself, rightly so, and and he's got the confidence of the manager to come on and make a difference, and that's what he done yesterday. He was making those driving runs, he was showing his skill, he was making good decisions. That's what we want to see, especially from a young player, and that's what he's done from pre-season, to be honest. And I'm glad that he's getting some opportunity, some more minutes off the bench, to be honest. Um, yeah, Bruno was dictating things in the middle. He got quite a bit of attention, should we say, from the Nottingham Forest players, but he stayed composed and he kept moving the ball quite effectively. Sean Longstaff was good. It's yeah, everyone was quite good. Obviously Sven Botman made a mistake. That's very rare from him. He has, the defense has been at times a bit shaky. We've been making our own problems basically for goals that we've been conceding recently, and it happens at times, But they're coming through it. Um, they're staying together as a unit, you know, and that's important, especially for the defense that all have confidence in each other, even when mistakes are made. And I know that they all consoled Sven Batman the after we conceded that goal, and I know this is gonna help him move forward. It's just one of those things like Nick Pope last week. He got quite lucky not to have the not to give away a penalty against Wolves and maybe even a red card, but it happens at times. Sometimes it's just slight errors that are just happening at the moment, and as long as they stay together as a unit, they'll be fine. I think we only conceded one chance after that. I think was it Brennan Johnson? He got a nice shot off, and Nick Pope made a quality save from it. So I hope that they take quite a bit of what's the word? Um, you know, obviously he didn't have a clean sheet, but you gotta take what you get. You've got to be quite proud of the performance in general, because we kept Nottingham Forest quite quiet, to be honest, throughout the game, and them at the City ground this season they've been very good. You know, not many teams come away from there with any points. You know, any points or many points basically. They've won the majority of their games at home. It's their fortress, and they made it a cauldron for us. The fans when we were starting to get really hyped up especially towards the end of the first half, and I was glad when um, Isak got the equaliser because that deflated them a bit because they were taking quite a bit of momentum into that second half otherwise, and that really just calmed them down a bit. The Nottingham Forest players were getting away with quite a few fouls, to be honest, and the referee wasn't really taking them to heed with any cards or anything. But it's just one of those things. We had to stay composed, which we did, and we continue to make opportunities, continue to show our ability, and that's what matters. You gotta stay composed. You gotta show that you can deal with the pressure from the opponent, and that's what I've noticed with Eddie Howe's team is that he manages to keep them relatively their emotions relatively balanced. At times we do get a bit overzealous as well, but it, it's a fine balance. You need that passion and that aggressive nature of the players, but you got to be able to temper it at times as well, where cooler heads prevail at crucial moments, and that was shown with the penalty because Keylor Navas came after Isaac because I thought that Isaac should be taking the penalty. Then obviously when Kieran Trippier went there to psych Navas out and to get him to back off, that was important. That's the type of leadership that Kieran Trippier shows, to be honest. That he understood the situation. He needed to get Isaac away so he could get into the right frame of mind to stay focused on what he had to do at that moment in time. It was high pressure, and Isaac showed that he can deal with those moments, and he kept Navas away. He, managed to destabilize him. He probably was thinking, "What's happening now?" At first he was sure that Isaac was the penalty taker, and he probably had analyzed his where he shoots the spot kicks and everything. But having Kieran Trippier there at that moment to just disrupt him and get into his head a bit, that's the type of you need that type of mind games at times in the game, and that's what I'm saying in terms of composure. When Kieran Trippier came up, it showed that he knew what that moment required, and that was quite quality behavior from the captain right there. So yeah, in general, it was just a good game. It was quite entertaining, especially for Newcastle fans, probably for neutrals as well. And I don't think so much for the Nottingham Forest fans. It was a good finish from Emmanuel Dennis for their goal. So he took advantage of the mistake made by Sven Batman, and that's what happened. That's what it's like in the Premier League. But we showed that we had the ability to not capitulate, to refocus, regroup, and go carry on to get a very important result. Because the past 2 games. Those 6 points are really important. Now we're only 2 points behind Tottenham with a game in hand, and on the same games as Manchester United, but 3 points behind them with them next um at St James Park without Casemiro, and he's a big part of that midfield for them. He's a big presence for them, not just on the ball, off the ball, in the dressing room and everything. So it's gonna be a very interesting game, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they cope with us um, after that Carabao Cup final. Cause I didn't even manage to comment on that due to other issues. But yeah, that was an interesting game because we played quite well in that game, but they took they were clinical, and when they had the opportunities, they just put them away. So it's gonna be very interesting in 2 weeks' time to see how they respond to St James Park. And it's gonna be a very energetic game. That I know the fans are gonna bring the passion. It's gonna be a cauldron. They're gonna be sorry for using that word, but it's just that simple. It's gonna be hot in there. I know that much for them. It's they're gonna have to have a real game plan for us because we're looking confident. These past few games we've been getting all of these draws. We have been creating chances, and I feel that's like Eddie has been saying, but that's something I always believe in. It's like when you see a striker going for a lean spell, but he keeps getting the opportunities and he's missing them, but he's getting into the right spots, and that's what we've done consistently through this very lean spell in terms of points, considering the way we've been playing for the past basically 18 months, nearly now. Yeah, since last January, we're closing in on nearly 18 months of the way we approach the game under Eddie House and his stewardship. You know, so he's been able to keep the players balanced in terms of their emotions. The morale in the dressing room hasn't dropped too low, and these 2 wins that we've just had against Wolves at home and Forest away have been, to me anyway, I think they're critical, and it's gonna just give the players that extra belief. We've got the international break, so we can get some players back. Hopefully, Anthony Gordon's available when we come back in 2 weeks. He may not be, but he'll be a lot closer to recovering. Miguel Almiron should be close to recovering from the injury I've heard he's picked up. Joe Linton will be back from his suspension, and those players are going to be really critical for this running because we've got some tough games. But I believe, especially at St James, we can pick up a lot of wins, and I feel they will take some wins on the road as well because we've shown that that teams respect the way we're going to approach the game. They're willing to defend a lot deeper, to concede the ball, and to try and counter-attack us. So that shows the level of respect that Eddie Howe has managed to cultivate for this team. Nobody's looking at Newcastle and say, "Oh, poor old Newcastle," and give us a lot of pat on the head because we lost, but we played valiantly. No, they have to respect the way that Newcastle United play now, and that danger is coming their way in terms of the way that we approach the game. We press high, we play fast. Times we direct. We're showing more and more capability to play more of those intricate passes, and that comes with time. As we're gonna face more teams that are willing to set up to just try and shut us down and hopefully nick a goal on the break. We're gonna have to start showing more and more of that ingenuity, that ability to slowly pick through a team's defense, and that's what we're showing. Hopefully, we can finish this season strongly, and next season we can get some players to complement what we have, especially help like Bruno maybe get a bit further forward because he's one of those players who can pick a pass and pick a defense apart. He's shown throughout his through the past 12 months or so that what he can do for our attack, and as well as everything in the midfield, he's just been a midfield general for us. And I want to see it just continue, and I feel like Eddie Howe is going to be capable of doing that. He He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He understands having that equilibrium is incredibly important to keeping the players focused on the task at hand and not starting to think too far into the future, and especially not to linger on any disappointing results. Because the past few games, we could have started to linger on the fact that we're not winning games that we felt we should have been able to, but because of missed chances and stuff and things of that nature. But he's managed to get them focused on the game that's being played. And that's all you can do. Is you can't do nothing about a past result. You just have to focus on what's happening. All right, that's happened. How do we recover? How do we make certain that the mistakes that have been made previously are ironed out and avoided as much as possible, and then we can continue forward and just be the best that we can be. And that's what I feel that Eddie Howe's trying to cultivate. And like everyone says, don't demand a team that wins. We do demand one that tries. And every game I've seen on Eddie Howe, I can't think of one game where the effort and the work rate has been lacking. Those are the first barometers of what he's trying to achieve. That he expects effort and work rate from each and every player that's out there on that pitch, and that's what they always bring. Now it's showing more that quality players like Isak, Bruno, Batman, Sam Maximan, Miguel Almiron, Trippier, Shaw. Basically everyone who's playing, to be honest, everyone's showing that quality. Nick Pope, John Linton, you know, even Sean Langstaff's elevated his game. Joe Willock elevated his game from when he first came to Newcastle. Joe Willock's shown a lot better decision making, and he's a lot sharper in terms of the way he approaches the game. It was unfortunate that he didn't score yesterday as well when he blazed that one over the bar. Sean Longstaff hit the bar. It's just the elevation of some of these players on the Eddie Howe has been amazing. And I'm really happy for each and every player at Newcastle right now that he's managing to draw all of that potential out of them. Because for a lot of them, I feel like before the regime change, a lot of them were probably just questioning what's going to happen with their careers. Are they any good? Do they belong in the Premier League? And a lot of them have shown that they are capable and they do belong at this level. So yeah, that's just my basic analysis of the past of yesterday's game against Nottingham Forest. Extremely happy with the win. It was well deserved, you know. And yeah, that's it. So wherever you are, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Peace.